resources that are available for each one of you to jumpstart your Windows 8 app development. One of the key things that we realized when we started discussing about Windows 8 app development with developers about over a year back was that not many developers are familiar with design or user experience, UX as we call it. Most developers in India are quite conversant with coding. They know various programming languages. They're reasonably good at that, but they're not necessarily the best designers or not necessarily the best UX experts. So therefore, we thought that it would be a good opportunity for us to create certain reference templates or design reference templates to help developers who might be good at coding but not so great at design to get a jump start into the app development. And we've made 70 plus design reference templates available on the URL that should be appearing on your screen right now. And these are free to download. They're available on Codeplex, which is Microsoft's open source repository. Feel free to take these templates, customize it as required. We don't expect you to use it exactly the way it is. We definitely expect you to make enhancements to it. We expect you to enrich it further, to add more content, to add more features and so on. But this can be the starting point of your app, and the wide range of apps that are available. I've just shown you a few screenshots available there. Most of these templates have taken into consideration some of the store guidelines. The Windows Store has a set of guidelines that need to be adhered to, and most of these templates ensure that those guidelines are taken care of. Having said that, if you use these templates, remember that ultimately the app that you generate based on these templates is your responsibility. So which means the content that you add, even any additions, any changes that you make is purely your responsibility, and at no point should you think that because you've used a reference template that we provided, if there are any errors or if there are any bugs in those templates, you don't need to fix it. You absolutely have to, because it becomes your app. It's your responsibility to be able to ensure that the quality of your end app, is of a reasonably high quality. And if there are any particular issues, you've kind of resolved it before you publish it onto the store. However, if by chance you encounter any major issue with the template, you should reach out to us, and I mentioned an email address to which you can reach out to us, so that if possible, we could evaluate if there is a need to update one of the templates based on any fundamental issues that you might find. Moving on, so this was the email alias that I just mentioned. wa8pitcrew@microsoft.com is the place at which you can send us email asking your technical queries related to both Windows 8 development as well as Windows Phone development. And when you send your app, let's say you've been working on a Windows 8 app, and you send your app to the App Lab, what the App Lab does is it will review your app. It will give you feedback about how you can improve your app, and based on that, you can then decide which parts of the feedback to take into consideration, which parts to ignore, and so on. It's purely up to you. You can decide which parts of the feedback to implement. But based on the overall feedback that we provide to you, we also give your app a grade. The grade ranges right at the bottom from elementary on to silver, then to gold, then to platinum. And this is some kind of a level of an indication of the quality of your app. So obviously, as many of you should be aspiring towards creating gold and platinum apps, because once you get to a stage of building gold and platinum apps, the amount of recognition that you can get both on the Dev Wall of Fame, App Wall of Fame, and through our various challenges that we just mentioned, which are going to be launched, will be immense. So I think the goal that each one of you as an app builder should have is to start creating really good high quality apps. One, so that you can get recognition through these challenges, but second, also so that you can actually get real world consumers of your apps, so that you can actually monetize your apps either through advertising or through actually having paid apps or through having in-app purchases. The Windows platform gives you all those opportunities, both to have free apps as well as paid apps, but in addition also to have in-app purchases in which you could potentially have a free app But let's say if it was a game and you wanted the consumer wanted to move from level 4 of the game to level 5 of the game, then there would be an incremental charge that could be levied by you, and that could be one avenue through which you could monetize your app. So do remember w8pitcore@microsoft.com. It's your single one-stop resource to get many of your technical queries related to Windows 8 app development as well as Windows Phone app development resolved. This is based in India. This is a unique initiative that we've launched in India. There are not many other countries that have this, free consulting available. Do remember that we get a lot of queries every day. So sometimes it does take about 4 to 5 days for the App Lab to respond to some of the queries. So you might have to be patient depending upon the queue of queries that have accumulated in a particular day. And then here are the next steps that you can note down, or if you want to wait till the recording of this webinar becomes available tomorrow. The next steps includes a wide variety of resources that you can leverage depending upon whether you are an independent software vendor or a startup company. You can definitely go to the Code for Honor website that I've listed over there. Similarly, if you're an individual software developer or a freelancer, take a look at App Builders Club. And then if you are just beginning your journey of learning about Windows 8 app development and Windows Phone app development, and you want to kind of access free resources that will help you learn about the latest technologies, go to microsoftvirtualacademy.com. Some of you might be interested in setting up a Windows Dev account. Take a look at that URL there, which will take you directly to the place through which you can set up a Windows developer account. Those of you who are looking for getting a Windows 8 trial so that you can start exploring Windows 8 development, getting the Windows 8 Enterprise, Windows 8.1 Enterprise trial, you can do that through going to the URL that I mentioned on the slide. You will need some flavor of Visual Studio. We recommend using Visual Studio Express 2013 for Windows. If you do not already have Visual Studio, maybe as part of your company, or you don't have Visual Studio installed on your personal development machine, VS Express is available for free, so there's absolutely no botheration in terms of having to procure Visual Studio for developing Windows 8 apps. Take a look at that URL to download VS Express 2013 for Windows, free of charge. Similarly, we talked a little bit a while back about the Windows 8 templates that we've created locally within India, 70 plus templates to help you with reference designs that you can use within your own apps. Now I know that some of you might have already built apps on iOS or Android, and you might be wondering, can I port my existing app? What are the kind of things that I need to keep in mind when I'm porting an app? So we have a set of resources specifically around porting iOS apps, and you can take a look at that. Again, the URL is mentioned on my slide. Similarly, if you've already built Android apps and are thinking of porting them over to Windows, there is a set of resources available for that also. This will help you reuse a certain amount of code, as well as make sure that you're keeping all the key things in mind when you're doing that porting process. In terms of local support, we've already talked about the App Lab. You can find more details about the App Lab on the website, the URL mentioned on the slide, and the email address, which is the same one that I had included in the earlier slide, which is w8pitcrew@microsoft.com. And now I'll spend a little bit of time talking about getting inspiration for your next innovative solution. So right at the beginning of this call, we talked about the fact that while many of you might be reasonably familiar with technology, some of you might struggle with thinking about the next, really cool idea to implement in your app or solution. And there are two areas that you can look at. One of them, for example, is the data.gov.in website, where there are 5,000 plus data sets, and then by looking at those data sets, you can get some ideas about interesting apps that you can create. But another one is the Apps for Asia document that we've created in conjunction with the Asian Development Bank, ADB. So ADB and Microsoft worked together a few months ago in last year in 2013 and came up with this document of a range of app ideas that would be useful. Many of these app ideas are related to social good. And if you take a look at this document, the link again provided on the slide, you will have at least 7 categories of areas in which interesting solutions could be made. And in each of those categories, there are further subcategories of features that could be incorporated into your solution. So this is just a starting point, and maybe by looking at some of these resources, you can get even further ideas about how to enhance your next solution. The key thing to keep in mind when building a solution is to think about who your potential users are, right? So what are the kind of consumers or what are the kind of customers who would be interested in whatever solution or app you're building? Why will they use it? Is there something already existing that they are using? How is your solution going to be better than what is already existing? If there is nothing already existing, then what are the key considerations you're going to keep in mind in terms of making your solution cost effective, scalable, how are you going to maintain your solution over a period of time? Do you need to train your potential customers and users about your solution so that they can use it in the right manner? Those are all the various angles that you will need to think about when you're building your solution. The other thing to keep in mind, especially when you're doing something related to games or entertainment, is to make your solution sticky. And what I mean by sticky means that someone should want to use your application again and again, right? And the reason for that is, it could be, for example, that you have new content and therefore they keep coming back to your application because there is new content. Or it could simply be that, like for example, in a game, that it's almost addictive in the sense that there's a certain thrill involved, there's a certain suspense involved, there's a certain cool factor involved which makes them want to come back again and again. Maybe to improve their score, maybe to engage with other players, especially if you're building a multiplayer game. Maybe it is to simply improve their skills. For example, if you're doing a vocabulary game or a word-related game, they might just want to ensure that they're improving their skills in a particular area. But there has to be some reason for them to keep coming back again and again. So therefore, I would caution for those of you who are thinking of building static content apps, please think twice before you do something like that, because most of the static content apps are never really used again by anyone who's downloaded them. Most of the time people will download an app thinking it's interesting, they open it, they see that most of the content is static and then they'll uninstall that app. So I really want to caution anyone who's thinking of building a static content app to ask yourself, why would anyone want to use an app like that again and again? If the content is not changing, if there is no interactivity, if there is no collaboration happening within that particular app, if there is no social angle associated with that particular app, then and if it's just plain static content, it really does not make any sense. So keep all that in mind when you're building your next innovative solution, and take advantage of the resources that are put up available out here. Feel free to communicate with us on the w8bitcrew@microsoft.com email alias, and we look forward to hearing your progress along your app development journey. And with that, I'll pause and get in for the second round of questions. I see that there are a few that have come in. Okay, one interesting question has come in from